Hey guys, welcome back to Coin Knowledge. So today we're going to be taking a look at an RWA project in the real world asset sector because I do think that RWA is going to be one of the top 3 hot narratives this cycle alongside potentially gaming and AI. Sure, there's memes in there as well, but I think that having an RWA pick in your portfolio, it will give you exposure to potentially a hot narrative. So when that narrative runs, you've already been set up before the sector runs. So if you guys are a fan of the, bringing newer projects and altcoins to your attention, potentially for the first time, just letting you guys know and keep you updated on some of our favorite altcoins in the space, consider subscribing to the channel and liking the videos. Your support means everything. So today we can take a look at, RWA real world assets. Right now, the whole market cap of the sector sits at about $32 billion. Now, there is some coins in here that they put in like Avalanche, Chainlink, ICP that I don't know if I'd specifically put into RWA. So right there, we can take, probably take away about $10 billion. So we'll just call about $20 billion that the RWA sector sits on right now. Obviously, there's some titans in the space like Ondo, Mantra, just to name a few. But I think that really a lot of the gains are going to be had on the lower to mid cap picks in the RWA sector. But again, I do think that RWA is going to run this cycle. We've already seen some strength in the narrative as a whole, as shown earlier this year. So if we take a look at the project today, it's going to be Brickken. Let me know in the comments below if this is the first time you're hearing of Brickken, or if you want to see more RWA videos on different projects in this space. Again, trying to set you guys up for exposure to multiple narratives before the narrative runs. That way it sets you up for potentially success when the narrative does kick off. So the reason why we're looking at Brickken today, if you take a look at their website, they do say, tokenization, which is what a lot of RWA projects obviously focus on, which is transforming your real world assets with their token suite, attract new investors, raise funds, drive business growth. Obviously, tokenization is huge in the RWA sector about tokenizing real world assets. So essentially, think about tokenizing your company, tokenizing a house, tokenizing stocks. You get the idea here. So a couple stats about Brickken is that they say that their total tokenized value is over 200 million USD. Their total value locked is over 10 million, and they are operating, within 11 countries right now. So these are the different countries that have chosen to trust Brickken, it looks like. So you have Token Crowd, Son of Success, Hacken, Hydrowind Energy, Hydroken, I think I said that right. Just a few. And again, they say what can be tokenized. Again, if you're not too familiar, this is just the gist of that. Obviously, real estate, startups, franchise, institutions, many more, entertainments. It's a great way, like they say, of earning funds or generating funds, especially if you are like a startup or if you do have like real estate, like property flipping, land development, stuff like that. So that's kind of what the RWA sector is about, and that's what Brickken is here to help do. Again, they say that simple steps: you create an account, create digital assets, and then fundraise. I mean, that's kind of what they say here. Again, there's a lot more with Brickken into their white paper. Again, I just want to give you guys just bringing it to your awareness. They do have a whole video. You can try it for free. You can book a demo. We're not going to watch the video in this video. It's at the top of their website if you missed it. But again, we're not going to do that because you guys can get on the website of Brickken and watch the video yourself. They have some decent backers here as well. A lot of awards that they've actually won, which is pretty good to see as well. So if you take a look here, again, you can book a demo. If you go book demo, it will take you to the page here where you can, get in here. You can book it. Again, we're not going to do that, but you can do it as well. But again, Brickken, what they're about is they're allowing people, traditional companies, or just people, again, with like real estate, stuff like that, to get into their platform, and you can actually tokenize your assets. That way you can make digital assets, tokenize your real estate business, fundraise, access to capital, much more with tokenization with their token suite. So that's why somebody would use Brickken essentially right there. If you take a look at benefits of tokenization, obviously fundraising, asset tokenization expedites fundraising, breaking down previous entry barriers, formerly exclusive to the affluent of institutions. Assets are now accessible to all. So instead of before where maybe like some real estate investments, you may have to be like an accredited investor where it's like $250,000 or something like that to become an accredited investor. Now with tokenization, now again, they say that fundraising can become accessible to all. So that's kind of a big point there. It kind of eliminates one of those big barriers from traditional Web 2 or real world investing. It makes it a lot easier for a company or a firm or anything like that to actually generate funds for fundraising, community building. You can attract investors, monetize your network, boost stakeholder involvement, efficient investor management as well. Again, a lot of stuff makes sense with tokenization. There's obviously a lot we can unpack here. They have some good numbers across their socials. Again, the awards. One thing I do like about Brickken is that they have a docs team. A lot of RWA projects will have docs teams. For the most part, quality ones. Obviously, there's other narratives like AI, gaming that don't always have a docs team. RWA is a narrative, in my opinion, that definitely the project should definitely have a docs team in the RWA sector. Ideally, you want every project to have a docs team, but there's obviously some exceptions to that rule. But I think RWA, especially for who they're appealing to, definitely having a docs team is a plus there. So that's why another reason I do like Brickken. If we take a look at their team, huge team. I mean, they're all here. They have their name, faces, they have their LinkedIn's. Huge team here behind Brickken, so I really do like the team here. That they're easy to find, easily accessible. If we take a look at Bricken's native token, the Brickken token, or the BKN for the ticker, another bullish factor here is that they are compatible on the Base chain. So they're on Ethereum, BNB, and Base. Obviously, I think that Base is going to be one of the hottest ecosystems as a layer 2 or blockchain this cycle. I think there's going to be a huge liquidity injection whenever the Base token does launch with an airdrop potentially. Obviously, that's speculation on what the future could hold, but I think it is, without a doubt, you cannot fade Base this cycle. So I think projects that are building on Base definitely have an advantage over ones that are building on other chains like BNB or Ethereum. I think Base and Solana, in my a personal opinion, obviously not financial advice, are going to be the two hottest chains this cycle. So I think that RWA project building on Base definitely, again, gives it that element of first mover advantage potentially, because I do think that if you're building on Base, there's obviously going to be a lot of people looking for quality projects on a new shiny ecosystem like Base going into its first bull run, first cycle. So another reason I like Brickken. Again, backed by, you can see all the different names here, pretty big ones. They have it where you can buy their different places where you can buy the Brickken token. We'll get into the exchange listings here in a little bit. Their allocation, so if you take a look at the allocation, obviously you can pause the screen if you'd like to really break it down, but the team gets 16%, advisors 1.6, they had an airdrop, strategic round, public round, community incentives. So if you take a look at it between the team, advisors, there's about 18%, strategic round, about 30% without the public rounds and community rounds. About 30% is in the team and early investors. So again, that's just something worth taking a note of. If we take a look at it, the BKN token, they do have a setup of $5,000 or $5 million, I think, in Brickken, 5,000 or 5, I think it's 5 million in Brickken, and then 45 monthly subscription fee. And then Brickken as a lending mechanism. These are just different utility of Brickken. Again, their team, we took a look at that. Now, if we take a look at their chart, obviously we can see that their exchange listings, they are on Mexi, Bitmart right now as exchange listings go. So obviously there's room for improvement on the exchange listings. If there's exchange listings start coming through the door, I'd be very, very excited to see that. I do believe that they're going to get on more exchanges, but it is early enough where this could go either way. Again, we see the different chains here, Base, Ethereum, and BNB. So it is good to see that they're on multi-chain. Again, Base is probably the one I'd choose there personally. If you look at the market cap, right now Brickken sits at a $12.5 million circulating market cap with a fully diluted of 30 million. So nothing huge as far as dilution goes, just a little over a 2x in dilution. Nothing crazy, so that is something you want to take a look at. $100,000 on the 24-hour trading volume. So again, nothing insane, especially for the market cap. You'd like to see it a little bit higher. Obviously, we look in the past, this project did get a lot of trading volume when RWA started heating up earlier this year, early 2024. Now, they did launch in about July of 2023, and then kind of, stayed stagnant, pumped at the end of last year. Not really went down. Then RWA obviously kicked off like we saw earlier in the year, and Brickken skyrocketed. So the fact that it pumped hard when RWA pumped is definitely a good sign, in my opinion. It shows that it does move whenever the sector moves as a whole narrative. So that's something you want to see in a project, in a narrative, is that if it pumps when its sector pumps. If not, that could be something to raise an eyebrow at. But again, always exceptions to every rule. But if we take a look at Brickken right now, we can take a look at where early investors are currently at. So if we take a look at IDOs, early investors are up 90% still at this current time. So again, yes, early investors are up. I don't think they're up a whole lot. I mean, some projects are still, even in this downturn market we're in right now, some early investors on other projects are still up 10x. So the fact that early investors are still up only 90%, whereas they are still up and this project could definitely still have room to go down, it is worth mentioning that they're not up a whole lot. Now, CryptoRank doesn't show the vesting schedule here. I couldn't find it too much into the project, but it might be deeper in the white paper. I might have looked over it. But again, so I don't have a vesting schedule right now. But again, at just a little over a 2x in dilution, the vesting is not something I'm overly worried about personally, especially since it is a new project going into its first cycle. Again, we see that they launch on July 25th of 2023. So they've been around for over a year now, or coming up on a year here this month. But I am expecting pretty good things for Brickken. It is one of my projects in the RWA sector that I am heavily eyeing right now. Again, if we take a look at the 1 year, same chart. Take a look at the 1 month. They are down over 51%. I think from all-time highs, they're down, about 85%. I mean, this project got up to $1.36 when RWA was running earlier this year. So again, being down 85% from its all-time highs, again, whenever we look at that comparison in those numbers, you have to ask yourself, does this project, if the all-time high obviously was within the last year, not last cycle, if it was an older project, but with it being a newer project, you do have to ask yourself, do you think this project is going to go back to its previous all-time highs from about 3 months ago? My answer is yes. Again, nothing I say is financial advice, but I do think that Brickken does have room to still run, especially the fact that RWA hasn't really been a hot sector since it initially ran earlier this year. We saw that memes and AI kind of took the scene again, I think in like May, and then memes have really been steamrolling over every other sector here in the last month or two. And now the market's kind of just being, kind of going down a little bit. So I don't even know if memes are still the hot sector. It feels like everything's kind of dying off a little bit. But as I always say, in these downward times, this is not when you run. This is not when you sell your positions. This is when you actually start looking at your altcoins, in different sectors. Again, if you're not exposed or have exposure to RWA in your portfolio, I personally think, again, not financial advice, but I think that everyone should hold at least one RWA token for this bull cycle, because I do think, again, RWA, AI, gaming is my top 3 narratives for this cycle that I'm betting on. There is memes. Obviously, memes have proven to be a strong narrative this cycle. But if you're asking me what my top 3 would be, I'm personally betting heavy on gaming and AI. And I do think having some exposure to RWA just makes sense for this cycle. That's what I think. Let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you think of Brickken? What do you think of RWA? Do you like this narrative? Do you want to see more projects being covered in the RWA sector? Let me know. If so, I can definitely make that happen. But just going over some highlights. Again, Brickken, I like the fact their team is huge. Docs, easy to find. They have, a lot of value currently locked up, according to their website. A lot of TVL, TTL as well. They're in 11 different countries. They have a working product, it seems. They have a low market cap with nothing crazy for the dilution. About, again, a little over a 2x. Their exchange listings, they do have Mexi and Bitmart, but I do think there's room for more exchange listings. Again, they're on Ethereum, BNB, and Base. So for an RWA project on Base, Brickken is definitely one of my favorites. Again, if you're looking for an RWA project on Base specifically, not just RWA as a whole, even though I do like Brickken a lot, let me know, guys. Let's talk about it in the comments below. If you guys are interested in getting into a community where you can ask questions or even find out new RWA projects like this one, we did just create an RWA channel on our Discord. You can get in there. It's linked below in the description below or on my channel. It's completely free to get in there. Let me know if you have any issues. I love talking to all you guys in there, in the comments. I really just appreciate all the support you guys have shown, over the lifetime of this channel. Really appreciate it. And if you have other RWA projects you want me to cover, or maybe I haven't heard about, if you want to bring to my attention, that'd be much appreciated. Comment them below, or get in the Discord and comment them there as well. I read all you guys' comments, and I try to stay as active as I can across all the different platforms. It's a lot though sometimes, but otherwise, if you guys got value out of today's video, if you guys can like the video, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, see you guys.